Lite Raise is a social tech company dedicated to empowering service organizations from nonprofits to educational institutions with the tools they need to raise essential funds. Their mission is to remove financial barriers and support organizations in reaching their goals while fostering a culture of paying it forward. Founded by Marc Alexander in 2009, Lite Raise was born from an anonymous $16,000 gift, which inspired Marc to create a platform that helps others in similar situations. Let's bring in Marc Alexander, founder of Lite Raise. Hey, Marc, how are you?
Kevin, great morning. It's an honor and pleasure to be here with you on All Talk this morning.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to get that gift that helped you change your life.
Oh, you know what? The best way to describe it, it was like a Disney movie. Something like that does not happen to a typical person. But I realized from that day forward, I have a bigger purpose in life. When I got it, it was goosebumps that went to my body. But now we're paying it forward 15 years later to organizations all around the world, my friend.
I think that's amazing. We are a generous country. We want to help people. We try and help people when the call comes out. I think Americans step up in a big way. But we do get a lot of requests, and we don't always know. And so when you help nonprofits try and prepare themselves to raise money, what are some of your suggestions so that they can be heard?
So I'm going to give you three amazing tips. One, of course, is prep and pre-work. You got to make sure you got a very defined message. You know what your goal is, but then also know who your target audience is. Get to that right person, right organization to support. Awareness is always key. But even with any organization, the day of when you're fundraising, you got to hit the gates running. Share people updates, let them know how much you have raised. But one thing I can say, Kevin, is really important is the day after any type of fundraising event like Giving Tuesday, that thank you goes a long way. And even my own self, I give back to multiple organizations simply because they told me thank you after that donation. So those are three key tips for any organization anywhere that's looking to raise money.
Give us an example of how an organization may not have done a good enough job defining their message.
Absolutely. So one thing I realized right now, we're in a digital era. Everything is 240 characters. I think a lot of times people are so focused on getting the message within that small sentence instead of speaking from the heart. When you see an organization that speaks from the heart, that's how you know they're genuine. Yes, I know AI is amazing these days, but you can tell when a message is created via a robot and one that's via a human heart that's really serious about it.
Oh, that's fantastic advice. You're so right about that too. And how about the target audience? What happens out there? How do people miss their target audience?
I think a lot of times they have the big effect where they want to just shoot and aim for every single person. You might have an organization that's looking to support your local law enforcement. Find whether it be your sheriff's department, your local police forces, or servant leaders. Those would be your target audience. You got to ask yourself, why would you give to a particular organization, and why would someone give to you? And once you can connect with that why, that's when you can really narrow down and focus on that key audience, which is going to be important for you at the end of the day.
I feel like some nonprofits will say they'll get together and they'll say, "All right, here's our goal. We need to raise X number of dollars. Who are the big hitters we can hit that will get us there right away?" And then if they don't get it, they're in big trouble.
Absolutely. And one thing I would say, and that's a very great point, Kevin, don't be afraid to aim for the low-hanging fruit, the $5, the $20. Think about this. If 1 million people gave you $1, guess what? You now raise $1 million. So sometimes we look for those big checks, which are great, but when you look at volume, that's where you can really get those key supporters to get that cause going.
I like to, when I get a call from someone, I'm maybe not sure, but they've won me over with a story. I like to go to their website. I like to look into them a little bit and find out more about them. How important is it for people to, have a good updated website in literature?
I think that's very important. So here's one tip I think is going to be very important for all organizations tuning in. Scroll to the very bottom of your website and see what's the year on there. I've been to a lot of organizations' page where at the very bottom it says 2016 or 2012. Make sure you're doing constant updates, because if you're not updating the small things, that's where it's going to discourage people from actually giving on your platform. So updates, blog posts, and even on social media, make sure you got content at least once a week, whether it's an update, an employee shout out so people can see you're still active and engaged.
Okay, for those who don't have nonprofits but are willing to give to nonprofits, what should we be looking at?
So here's two things. First, ask a friend. The thing I've learned as I'm looking at organizations to support, who is my friends donating to? Who do they volunteer with? Because they have already vetted the process. And then the very important tool that a lot of us overlook, irs.gov or your local or state government website, on there they have a charity search. We can look up organizations, make sure not only are they active, but are they up to date on their paperwork. You can actually see if they're 501c3 approved as well. So those are two amazing websites you can leverage at these organizations.
What are some of the warning signs you have for folks?
Oh, some of the warning signs is when people are pressuring you in that moment to give. One, if they're not willing to give a receipt, and two, if they give you a number and you look at the website and the number doesn't correlate, because of course with Giving Tuesday coming up, you're going to be inundated with tons and tons of emails, texts, and phone calls. But make sure when you look at that email address that it matches up with the organization, because you'll get a lot of spam that's going to hit you. So protect your privacy, protect your credit card, but most importantly, protect your donations out there.
Yeah, I always feel like I get more out of giving than maybe even the people I'm giving to, but I want to make sure that I'm giving to a good organization that's actually getting the money to people. Marc Alexander, how do people find you?
Oh, you can visit us at www.literaise.com or give us a call at 586-819-0091.
God bless you for all you're doing for all of these nonprofits. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you.